Julius is the director of an organization called Support Initiative for People with Atypical Sex Development, which works to promote human rights for children and sexual minorities in Uganda. Uganda recently debated legislation that would further criminalize and ban homosexual acts. If passed, the law would make some homosexual acts punishable by death. In response, Julius played a leading role in bringing together diverse groups and voices in opposition to the bill, and emerged as the most effective and one of the most high-profile opponents of the law. In doing this, he brought international attention to the plight of sexual minorities in Uganda and worked tirelessly to defeat the bill. But the legislation still dominates political debate in Uganda and has left a legacy of an appalling rise in violence against sexual minorities. Julius has been a clear and true leader, and in return, he has been interrogated, detained, and beaten. In speaking with him, I've been amazed at his optimism and hope in the face of such bigotry. Here is a short video about Julius and his work.
The anti-homosexuality bill has many provisions, but some of the most monstrous provisions say that if a homosexual commits serial offenses of homosexuality, their punishment should be death. What happened is when these evangelists came from the US, they brought a new message. They had news for us that there was a gay agenda. And that gay agenda was to recruit all the children of Uganda into homosexuality.
Even though probably the majority of homosexuals are not oriented toward young people, there's a significant number that are.
This is the American evangelical Scott Lively speaking at an event called the Seminar on Exposing the Homosexual Agenda, half a world away in the African country of Uganda.
We say no to homosexuals.
Immediately after that seminar, which extended beyond, the confines of that hotel where it was held, and went to Parliament, because I know that those evangelists had audience with our Parliament.
Months later, a bill was introduced called the Anti-Homosexuality Bill of 2009, which calls for death by hanging for gay and lesbian serial offenders, and also prison time for anyone, including parents, who fail to hand over someone they know is gay or lesbian to the police.
The messaging that is trickling down to the community, that these people are less than human.
Homosexuality is prohibited here in Uganda. We don't want it.
We had petitions and signatures and voices, outright statements coming from very prominent people internationally.
As I send this encyclical video to the pastors of the churches of Uganda, the potential law before your parliament is unjust, it's extreme, and it's unchristian.
It is unconscionable to target gays and lesbians for who they are, whether it's here in the United States or, as Hillary mentioned, more extremely in odious laws that are being proposed most recently in Uganda.
And eventually, we were able to build a case. However, the author of the bill and his allies have committed themselves to push this into the 8th Parliament and to ensure that it passes in one way or another. I'm an optimist. I always think that there is a way. There has got to be a way. There's got to be a way. You keep talking to people, out of 10 people, you'll find 2 who will say, I think I get what you're saying. Let's join hands and walk this journey, and we will get there.
Ladies and and gentlemen, it is our privilege to give the 2010 Human Rights First Award to Julius Kagwa. Julius.
Thank you so much for the privilege of this award. I am honored to be here among you, and I'm even so honored to be here with my precious wife to share this moment with me. I accept this award not for myself, but on behalf of all the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, and intersex people who are harassed and threatened in Uganda, in Africa, and all around the world. I also want to thank Human Rights First for its support of our work. Through you, I don't see anybody, yes, I see some, I see Elisa over there. Through you, our coalition has had audience with officials at the highest level of the US government, who then spoke loudly and clearly in defense of LGBTI rights. You are a lifeline for human rights defenders on the front lines, helping us to turn anguish into action and then concrete change that has saved lives. I wish my colleagues back in Uganda and those we serve could be here tonight to see how you celebrate them and our cause. They may not believe me when I report about this trip and what is happening here, because in Uganda, sexual minorities are not honored. We are hunted. We live on the lookout for somebody to arrest us, to hit us, and worse. One man told me that he considered any day that he's not abused a lucky day. Too often we see headlines that incite hatred against homosexuals and put their lives at risk. And clergy in Uganda preach hatred from the pulpit, saying that homosexuals have an agenda to recruit all of our children into homosexuality and to sexually abuse them. This message and their message is clear. Homosexuals are child rapists and must be punished, even executed. During the debate about the anti-homosexuality bill, one member of parliament said he would hang his daughter if he learned that she was a lesbian. He said he would be too ashamed to have her as a daughter, and added that he would volunteer to be the hangman. This was the comment of a man who said he's trying to protect the family. We have succeeded in stopping the bill for now, but the hatred it created lives on. We see mothers and grandmothers leaving church services swearing that they will lynch the next homosexual person they see. We see churches advocating curative rape, forcing lesbians to have sex with men as a way to cure them of their homosexuality. There are evictions, there are firings, there are several hate crimes. I know one man who was forcibly hospitalized and heavily medicated for being mentally ill, and his mental illness was being gay. This makes gays and lesbians feel less than human. I know what this is like because I was born intersex myself, which means that I had both male and female characteristics at birth. Of course, I had medical intervention when I was young, but in my 20s, I tried to forget all about it, to bury myself in my work and live with my own life. Then I met so many young people who were struggling, who were feeling worthless because others looked at them with disgust. And I thought, somebody has got to speak up. At first, all I did was extend a hand of friendship. I told gays and lesbians, I knew that if a pastor says it is not okay for you to go to church, I say it is okay. That's how it started. We would just meet and pray and sing and create a sense of belonging, because that is the cry that I had so often. People despairing of having nowhere they belonged. From these meetings, I realized this is more than a gay issue. It is an abuse of human dignity. Today in my country, the target is gays and lesbians. We don't know who it will be next. Maybe those with HIV, or orphans, or people with disabilities. We are fighting to stop attacks on marginalized people who already have so much to deal with. Many of the people in our coalition had been living double lives, but it is not so easy to live a lie, to suppress what is inside of you. Sexual minorities in Uganda are people with dreams and talents, and so many have said that even if it means arrest or death, they will pursue a true life. This gives me hope that the powerful urge to be free and live with dignity can exist despite hatred and discrimination, despite fear and despair, and that those who experience this urge can join their voices together and drown out those who hate. This award helps us, not just me, but all of us back in Uganda. Just as my friends in Uganda have given me hope, this award will give them hope, something they desperately need. And so I thank you deeply and sincerely for this honor, which I will deliver to them with an overflowing heart. Thank you so much.